You guys, it's exciting.
Of course. So we've had a UFO expert on before, Dr. Greer, who I'm sure you're familiar with, right?
I am.
And I'll just say it. I loved Dr. Greer and his entourage, and he showed us some things that were pretty interesting, to say the least. He was convinced he had a picture of an alien, kind of looked like lights, and you know, he left, and I was like,
Yeah, no, I'm acutely aware of that. My own father was like, "Son, what are you doing?" So you cannot discuss anything that you can't prove in a court of law. So you could have your personal beliefs, but if you're going to go public with stuff, you better be prepared to back it up with facts or enough compelling evidence to sway a jury in a court of law. And that's what I do.
Yeah, and that's why I think your film is as world-renowned as it is, because you had a lot of testimonials from high-ranking government officials, the evidence that you speak of. And you know, Dr. Greer, they do the CE5 where they summon aliens and they can meditate and stuff. And I guess what I'm saying is, like, I just don't know if I bought it. You know, and your stuff seems a bit more grounded in reality. Even you know, this bit of the many articles that have been written on you. This one here says, it's from The Cut. It says the headline is, "My favorite hot ufologist has a new documentary." So and so you do seem a little more just grounded, I guess, and hot, you know. So are you hot because you are looking for UFOs, or are you looking for UFOs because you're hot? You know what I'm saying?
I'm hot on the trail. Okay? No, honestly, you guys, I'm just Joe Public that decided to do something about a potentially huge story. And I picked up a camera years and years ago, back in my 20s, and I started to say, I'm going to get to the bottom of this. I'm going to find out what's going on, you know. And I started going to conferences, listening to military guys, and here I am all these years later, 4.5 films later. I've done some of the most, what are considered some of the most credible civilian efforts to push for government transparency. And I'm no closer to the truth today than I was 25 years ago.
God damn it.
I know. But I can tell you is that there are clearly structured craft of unknown origin whizzing around with impunity. And every government official will confirm that beyond a shadow of doubt. But anybody who says they know exactly what's going on is full of doggy doo-doo. I'll tell you that right now. But you do the process of elimination if it's not the Russians, if it's not the Japanese, if it's not the Chinese, if it's no other, like, superpower. Yeah, the Swedish.
I knew it. They were too quiet for too long.
You know,
Fuck.
The possible elimination will tell you, all right, clearly there's something otherworldly taking place. Who are they? Where do they come from? What do they want?
And that process of elimination excites a lot of people.
It does.
It excites me a lot.
Me too.
I can tell. But your specialty, correct me if I'm wrong, is not so much extraterrestrial, other interplanetary life, so much as it is unidentifiable flying objects, correct? UFOs.
Yeah, so I've made a couple of other films. I did a film Out of the Blue, did a second version of it, Out of the Blue director's cut, and then I did a film called I Know What I Saw, and I never, during the production of those films, touched on what are reported as close encounters of the third kind. So the very guy who investigated UFOs for the United States Air Force, whose name was Dr. Jalen Hynek, and he was a scientific advisor to the Air Force from 1947 to 69. And I don't know at what stage, maybe it was in the 50s, he's like, all right, we're going to classify UFO encounters into 3 categories. Close encounter of the first kind. Somebody says, hey, I saw a UFO. Cool. Close encounter of the second kind. Hey, I saw a UFO, and this UFO interacted with the environment. Maybe it burned someone's face. Maybe it left marks on the ground. Maybe it was photographed or picked up on radar. Close encounter of the third kind is when witnesses claim to see occupants associated with the craft. That's some next level stuff, because there's one thing to identify a craft in the air and beings on the ground. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is the first film I've done where I've delved into close encounters of the third kind, because I felt like it was a really slippery slope, you know, especially the fact that I'm dealing with high-level government and military officials. I thought they're going to run for the hills when they found out I talk about a UFO landing in Africa where the occupants get out and reportedly interact telepathically with all these children. I mean, it's a pretty out there story, right? Like, a UFO lands at a school in broad daylight and gets out of the craft at 10:30 in the morning, and they interact telepathically with a handful of kids?
Do you know about this story?
In Zimbabwe, correct?
Zimbabwe,
This
wild.
is nutty.
Wild.
I know it's nutty. I know it's nutty.
It's your new favorite word, by the way.
They commented.
Nutty.
That's all I'm saying. Nutty, man.